Welcome to Random Ish with Sonja. What's crackalackin'? How you doing? Oh yeah, I had to do the curls again. I was feeling it, so I had to bring it back again. Got a good show for you. Talking about bringing it back. We're gonna be talking a little bit about back in the day to right now. Things that we've been all interested in. But before we get into all of that good stuff, I want to introduce to you my co-host for the day, Mr. Lamont, aka Anonomus. He is a rapper. Right now, he just said he's down in Florida, kind of jelly right now. How you doing, Anonymous?
Not bad. I'm great. I'm enjoying life. Sunny outside, nice and warm. Can't complain. There's no complaints.
Right? We're so jelly. Now, wait a minute. Isn't there something crazy going on down in Florida? Didn't I hear something is like it? Technically,
That was
there's
like
always something crazy happening in Florida.
weekend that passed. Everybody came down for spring break, so they was just out there acting a fool, not adhering to the guidelines, no mask. But Florida, they got rid of the mask mandate and we're fully open. So but they was out here causing a ruckus. So they had the police come down here and tighten them up and tighten everything up because it was crazy out here. It was real crazy.
Okay, Florida. This is why whenever there's a crazy story, it always starts with and a Florida man and a man from Florida, a person from Florida. Yeah. Wow. I don't know. I lived in Florida for a little while. It's fun down there, but no masks. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's people's choice, and
Yeah.
you can't tread on people's choices. They want to make that choice. That's fine. But for me and mine, put your mask on, stay 6 feet, wash your hands.
Soon come, we'll be back to a new normal because the normal from before wasn't happening anyway because there was all kinds of crazy that was allowed and we are not. I do think that this whole pandemic, I think that it was a catalyst for the change because everybody being in their house all over the world, when injustice then happened again, it wasn't the same as all of the distractions that you have from your everyday life. Everybody was like, what did they do to him? Oh, what now? Say, you know what I mean? And it was just a chain reaction. So I do think that the pandemic, I don't think that it was a great thing. And please don't twist my words. But I do think that,
Yeah. It opened a lot of people's eyes to what's really going on. There's less distractions. So people can be hyper focused on what they need to be hyper focused on. If you're in that realm, if that's what if you're doing social justice or if you're being an activist, now you're being hyper focused on your goals and what you need to do to help push the agenda of the people that you want to help.
This was the first time ever you saw the entire world demonstrate. And again, I think that was because of the no distractions. So, I mean, it's good. It's good. So we got to talk about a couple of stories, a couple of little stories that have hit my eye this week. Okay. First things, happy that there's a new movie that I was watching the other day about a documentary. I guess National Geographic did a documentary about Aretha Franklin. And I've been kind of like, I'm all into, hearing people's stories and how they came up in the struggle. Because as a creative, when you hear these stories, it makes you go, okay, keep going. All right.
Yeah.
Keep going because you never know. And not everybody wants to be uber famous. So if you just want to be, active in your craft, then that's what you do. So I'm watching I think, is it called a biopic? I don't think so. But anyway, so I'm watching it. And then yesterday, I see online that her family, her son in particular, and then her granddaughter, they're totally against it, protested the whole thing. The title of it is Genius, Aretha. Now, let me just ask you a question. The parts that I saw, they held her in such respect, right? And it was kind of like, I said to myself, oh, wow, I never knew she went through that because, we don't know these things. Do you think that might be a little bit more of the whole, well, I'm her son and y'all didn't pay me and didn't ask me any questions? Because apparently when they contacted the producers, they were like, we're not going to work with you. We have plenty of the estate, the actual Aretha Franklin estate is down with the documentary or movie biopic story. I see, this is where I don't know what it's actually called, okay? But these two members in particular causing a huge stink. What's up with that? What
You know, it's to me it's a double-edged sword because there's two things that's going on. It's like, first off, that's your bloodline. So if you got outsiders doing stuff, making biopics about your bloodlines, autobiopics about your bloodlines, and they may not be consulting you, or even if they did consult you, you feel like they're not letting you have enough creative input on it, then I can get where that's coming from. Right. But on the other hand, it's like your mother was a genius. She was out there, and they want to shed the light on it. As long as they're holding her in such a high regard, and because I'm 100% sure that they spoke to the son, the godmother, whoever, they spoke to them, and they had to have some kind of sign off on it. So it's one of them things where there's three sides of the story: his side, her side, and the truth.
Right.
And okay, if you feel like they didn't pay you what you should have got paid,
thank you. Thank you. I think that's really what it's about. It's almost like I'm not even sure that he's really. It didn't exactly sound like the beef is that they painted her disrespect, they didn't tell the true story. It was more of the fact that he felt slighted that he did not get paid to give the input, I guess, on his mom, but several other people who worked with her. Now the question is this too: if she's the performer and he's her son, was he there? Does he? Do you really know what happened? Like, you only know her as a mom, right?
Exactly. And that's also another thing. If he wasn't out on the road with her, or if she wasn't giving him all the knowledge of what was happening behind the scenes, then okay, because there's a lot more that goes into it. They speak to managers, they speak to band members, they speak to close friends, and also they speak to the family. So in that regards, if your beef is you felt like you didn't get paid, your family's estate didn't get paid, or they didn't get, the proper due to them, you should. Your mother's a genius. Your mother's known worldwide.
Seriously.
Know the worth.
Yeah.
If they're gonna say they're gonna give you 20 million, let's just throw a number, 20 million, and you're like, no, my mother's Aretha Franklin, she's worth 40. Tell them no, give me 40. If they say no, then tell them don't do it.
Right.
Unless you don't have the proper protocols or the proper, leverage.
Have the authority. That's the thing. It's messed up, because even myself, I went through that when my father passed. When things like that happen, we want to automatically assume that the kids get to say, stuff like that. But no, the spouse gets to say. If they had papers, then somebody else gets to say. So it just seems to me that I would think that you should just be happy and honored the fact that this project is out there, and maybe you would be upset that you didn't get a payday from it or something, but I would imagine you still have to be getting some kind of payday from it.
Exactly.
Trickle,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And the trickle down, because you're her son, so
exactly.
Maybe
and all of that, and just even outside of the fact of that, like it's the name, it's your mother. Like I tell people all the time. Some people ask me about like my family and stuff like that, my mother and father, and I tell them like, there's no amount of money that could replace my mother or my father.
Right.
I'll give everything back to get them back. Like the money shouldn't be the focus or the goal. It's the legacy that's left. That's what it is. The legacy that's left behind.
You got the name, there's nothing, and nobody can take that away from you. You have the name. So I thought that was interesting. And, I'm sure many people don't know that he protested. So thought I'd bring it up and get your take on that too, about, how, I don't know, but just there's a part of me that just feels like it's more about money than about whether he feels like they told the truth or not. And
That
Exactly.
is a little bit unfortunate. So, you know. In some other unfortunate news. Okay, because I want to get his name right, because technically we don't actually care about this guy. But but when we saw when I saw I'm sorry. When I saw some of the videos in reaction to what's happened, I was like, oh, I guess I do need to talk about this. I'm talking about guy who Derick Jacks.
Oh, Mr. Derick Jackson. Mr. Derick Jackson.
Wait, he was like, I already know who you talking about, girl,
because everybody is lighting
him up right now.
There's so many different things that I could say about it. There's right things that I could say about it. You know, there's wrong things that I could say about it, my personal opinion. But first and foremost, because I was talking to a real good friend of mine, like family, and we was having the same conversation. I'm like, yo, at the end of the day, he's a regular man.
Right.
Like, people, they start to say idolize, but they put so much behind these people on these platforms, these social media platforms, that, you know, when something humanistic about them happens, now they want to rush and tear them down. Like, is it horrible he cheated on his wife? Of course, it's horrible. But for y'all to be, you know, out there jumping on his neck for what he did, you know, like, what's the difference between that and what Jada Pinkett did? Y'all wasn't really jumping on her neck, and that completely disappeared. They don't even mention that no more.
Well, I'm going to say this. You know why the reason is because Jada and Will, we have always thought that they were in an open relationship. So they kind of, it was kind of, I'm sorry, but it was kind of expected that we would at some point in time hear of somebody, you know. I think that most people were expecting it to be on Will's side, so the surprise is that it was Jada. But as far as they're concerned, I think because
everybody thought they were freaks already, so.
But that's also another reason that leads to it. Like, we make assumptions, and you know the saying about making assumptions. You know what it does.
You make an ass out of you and me. What?
Exactly. You know, old boy. And then on the other hand, he's in that social media platform. He's been making money off of it. So he understands how the algorithm and how the game works. Like, when he did that reaction video to his video, and people like, oh, he's a narcissist. I'm like, no, he's a smart businessman.
No, seriously.
That video is driving his numbers through the roof. They're going to buy his books. And his wife, he sat there and told us, my wife knew. I explained everything to my wife. My wife has a list of the women I even said hello to, and she's still there with him. Like, get out of them people business. Now what y'all doing is y'all shining a spotlight on her, and if she decides she wants to be in the limelight somehow, boom. Now she's got a platform.
Well, you know, she certainly does now. Yeah. Well,
and that family even more money. Even more money.
Sometimes I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about, and I'm going to try to say this in a way that I'm not necessarily specifically describing this person, but there are people, and it's a very similar situation. It's a male who I feel is making a lot of money off of the fact that he portrays himself to be this, I'm such a wonderful, good man, and if you were my woman, then I would, I'd buy you flowers for no reason, I'd take you out on dates all the time, I'd, run your bath water, and that type of a thing, which always sounds really good, and he's always giving the advice on social media about relationships and how men should do better, and, all of that good stuff. Now, I have gone and had a few meetings with this person in real life, and have noticed that I feel like I got the distinct energy feeling that it's more of a play. You know what I mean? Because this person also does events. And so therefore, when you do events and then you're just like this like really good guy, you know what I mean? Women are going to come to the events. Women come to the events, men come to the events. So it's this huge like money-making machine going on, and it's really interesting because right before the news broke, about Derick, that's when I literally just had this conversation about this person. And I feel like it's very similar. You know, is it possible that he did this on purpose so that he can get more cheddar? I mean, even the video of
His wife
You
looking
never
like
know.
a prisoner.
Exactly. And now she doing home. Oh, I got the bonnet of salvation and the chest plate of. I'm like, what? Like,
who
okay,
wears a bonnet? Who
okay, all right.
Who knows here?
who wears a bonnet in a video about your man cheating on you? Why? Why? I don't mean, and if I sound like I'm tearing down another woman, I'm sorry, but I would think that you would want to come up on camera looking like, you know what I'm saying?
right? Like he's stupid. Look
What
what
he got. Look, girls, women, fellas, look what he got. And look what he did. He's so stupid. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
do you
Oh,
think?
definitely.
Abuse.
She's already a meme icon. So, like, she, he, if it, hopefully, and then this is where it becomes a slippery slope. Hopefully, it wasn't done. You know, if it was done for monetary gain, that's a horrible way of getting money and selling your books and stuff like that. And then it gets slippery because it's like, you did it for monetary gain. You never really cheated on your wife. You're BSing. Okay, so that negates the whole you cheated on your wife thing, which is awesome. But at the same time, now you're lying to everybody. But
Well, it might be that they have an open relationship, is what I'm saying.
we don't know the dynamic of their relationship.
Yeah, that secretly it's open, because then if it's open, black men don't cheat, then he's not cheating.
Exactly. But since we don't know the dynamic of their relationship, it's all open to speculation. And speculation does what? Generates views, questions. Now they're going to start looking at his old videos to see what he's talking about, to try and clown him on that. It's a big machine. It's a big machine. And I'm pretty sure with the numbers that he's doing, he's got managers. He has a think tank that may be behind him. So,
Oh yeah.
The possibilities are
endless.
Endless.
It's just it's
One of those situations that it brings up to mind again, and it spurs off into other conversations, right? Not so much about him, but are we fooling ourselves with this whole thinking that men, or even women, because again, like you said, Jada Pinkett situation, are we fooling ourselves into thinking that we can really be in monogamous relationships for 50, 60 years? I think that you could be in a relationship with somebody for 50, 60 years. I do personally, okay, so let me just preface this by saying, I do think that it is possible. I think that it takes special people. And I think that for the average person, it needs to be a little bit of there needs to be like an understanding or something like that. So then
that way, if something happens, nobody
is like freaking out and you're not destroying your whole foundation of your relationship because somebody, slipped up or something. But again, I think that takes very special people to be able to even have that type of a dynamic. Otherwise, I think this is fucked up, but I think that monogamous relationships are better done when it's super short-lived. You know what I'm saying? If a
woman really wants to think that a guy
is just not going to do anything whatsoever, not look at a chick, not flirt with a chick, not, you know what I'm saying, not have a chick come on to him, because
women come on to men,
it's not always that a guy is out there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but again, I do think that we can be monogamous. I just think that it takes special people. I just think that the average person, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think that if you don't understand about energy, then you're not going to be monogamous. I think if you understand about energy and you know how that works and you know how we're frequency and things of that nature, then I think it's going to be way easier for you, because the person that you're with is the person that you're like.
Exactly. You're vibing with them.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want anybody else,
Exactly. And also goes back to, just being transparent with your partner, and just talking, communicate. Communication is a big key. Like, you have to talk to them and find out what they like, what they don't like. And, there's a saying that goes, after a while, you can't change the stripes on a tiger. So you know the person that you're with, you know their traits, you know what their button presses are, and you can see certain things, the minute details that will let you to believe, like, all right, well, I know they're doing this or I know they're doing that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm pretty sure my man was on that type of time always. His wife knew he was on that type of time. She had to have some kind of idea. You know, intuition is big.
Huge.
Especially women's intuition is a lot stronger than men's, you know?
Huge. So. Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. I personally think that she had to have known a little something. I think that for all women, you know something. You know what I mean? You might not be able to put your finger on it, and you damn sure don't necessarily want to be like, he's really out there, like, you know, especially if it's a relationship. I know I'd be saying a lot, but again, it's one thing if your man is out there fucking another chick. It's a whole nother thing if he's having conversations with a bitch, texting a bitch, what you doing today, bitch? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like, oh, no. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I mean? That takes it to a whole nother level. But I don't know. I personally think that there's some kind of machine, money bags, because who comes on a video and is wearing a bonnet?
Yeah, and every one of them is getting paid, even the side chicks, because they doing radio shows and stuff now. Everybody getting paid. Everybody looking at a paycheck. So you know.
So why do you do it these days? It's not even necessarily about the talent. It's about, can you get some splash? Can you get some scrolls? Get people to stop on their scrolls and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I got a story that we're going to
talk about that's definitely going to make people stop on their scroll, and we'll talk about it, and it's affecting men, and we'll talk about it in just a hot second. We'll be right back.
The Clothesline, world-class service with a personal touch, offering commercial laundering services, wash, dry, and fold with free pickup and drop-off included, dry cleaning services, and coin-op laundry. Be sure to check out the Facebook page, The Clothesline, for cleaning tips you can use at home. theclotheslinelaundromat.com.
And welcome back to Random Ish with Sonja. How you doing? So I've got my co-host with me today, Mr. Lamont, aka Anonomus the God. He is a rapper doing the damn thing. Hey, so we haven't touched.
Real quick, but so you've been
doing the whole music thing. You're a lover of music your whole life, right?
Yes. Since I started rapping, I would say since I was 7. Really got into writing around 13. Started making beats around 14, 15. Same with recording, mixing and mastering, and it's just been a beautiful journey from there.
That's what's up. I love it. We'll get into all of that good stuff. Technology, I think, has definitely been able to play a big part in both of our careers and abilities to express ourselves. So we'll get into that in a
hot second. But first,
the scroll stopping conversation I want to have with you. So it got brought up to me the other day. Okay, I saw a video on TikTok. Let me see what this guy's name is. Hang on a second. Let's give him Marcus DePola on TikTok. And he's just very plainly states that men's penises are getting smaller and smaller and have been
for the past, some odd generations.
And it's due to the plastics that we are already ingesting, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Now I was like, wait, what? So I'm thinking that it was a joke, right? Because I was
like, oh, this is just a person
looking for views, right? Then I get into it and I start looking, and it turns out, PSA moment for all of you gentlemen and women out there who are trying to have some babies and reproduce and all of that good stuff. The plastic in your food is causing a decrease in penis size among the new babies coming into the world. The phthalates, all right? Shauna Swan, she is a scholar of reproductive health, and she told Politico magazine that the sperm count has fallen 59%, okay, from 1973 to 2011. 53%. So if you've got that conspiracy theory thing going on and you're like, oh, they're trying to kill us with COVID, no, bitch.
the food you eat.
They're trying to stop you
from having babies, okay? I'm sorry.
We respect the rules and the systems
of things. So anyway, she just wrote a book. It's a new book. The Countdown that's what the title is. It's called Countdown. It was published in February, and she's saying that projections are set to reach because of all of these phthalates and the different things that are in our food, the electronics, food packaging, pesticides, personal care products, personal care cosmetics, and also it's in the bodies of everyone in the planet. She is projecting that it will reach a sperm count of 0 and 50% of men by 2043.
Word. Now.
I'm sorry for them.
I know. I was thinking, I was like, wow, so you better have already had some babies. This is really interesting. Babies, she's saying there's also studies that have found that babies' testosterone has dropped 1% per birth since 1982. And girls are getting earlier in puberty. Now, this made me think of all different kinds of scenarios and things, Do you think that, first of all, I think they've even been able to get away with this is because do you even think men care about their health? Like, you're a guy.
I believe a lot more men are starting to care about their health. I just came from the doctor today, and I was happy to hear what he told me about my health, and it's not just like health in general, it's also mental health. A lot of men are starting to finally understand it, that it's twofold. It's up here and it's also in your body. So I believe that men, they want to take care of themselves if they're smart enough to want to take care of themselves, you can't tell somebody that wants to eat 50 Big Macs, like, hey, stop eating them Big Macs. That's what they want to do. That's what they're going to do no matter what you tell them,
Right.
And it gets to the point where either the person wants to do it or there's some that impacts them from doing it. Because I used to be a big smoker. I used to smoke like almost a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. Wow. And, I lost both of my parents to cancer, but that really didn't stop me. Even though I lost my parents to cancer, that didn't stop me. I had gotten sick in Pennsylvania and my lung had deflated. And the nurse was like, do you smoke? And she was like, do you smoke? And I was like, yeah. She was like, well, let the cigarette that you had before you got here be your last cigarette. And that was it for me. That was it for me. Like, it's sometimes you have to have a shock to bring you to that point. But some people they're more health nuts than others. So
true. I think that men have become a little bit more conscientious of like their health, and like you were saying, because society is kind of making it a normal to understand that your thoughts are important and how you feel is important and how you're thinking and how you're feeling, it is going to affect your body. And energy workers, people who are into the metaphysics and spirituality of the world have long known that the way you feel and the way you think and what you do, it should be in alignment. And most people
are out of whack. They're out of balance.
They feel one way, they do another thing, and and things are all out of whack, and then disease gets caused. But this situation here, I think, is a little different because these are products that we are ingesting and
are surrounded by that are
made and are causing health issues. And we know now that these companies, that there have been companies that have been found to know that their products and the way that they do business causes issues and harm to people and to the earth, and they've never been held accountable. You know what I mean?
They've never changed their ways of doing
things because that was just a cheap way of doing it. And to be honest, I understand that when companies first started out, I'm not exactly talking about them, but we'll use Johnson & Johnson as example. When it came out in 1813 or whatever it was, when it first started, the products that they used then might have been crude. They might have been using leeches. You know what I'm saying? But
as intelligence has been gained,
then they use different products, right? So I would think that, that these companies would use different products, but apparently it's these phthalates. So you want to make sure, and it's so funny because I was wondering how come in some of the shampoos there are commercials now that you'll hear, like in the shampoo stuff, they say no phthalates, no phosphates, and stuff.
Exactly.
And I was always like, oh, what
What are those? Oh, I don't know what those are, but I'm glad that my product doesn't have that, you know?
Uh,
Turns out to be that it's causing penis shrinkage and your sperm counts to go 0.
that's rough.
So would
That's
you-
rough.
Messed up because what happens is there's a lot of parents out there where I'm getting ready to go is that when you're a single person and you get asked a question about having kids or whatever, if you don't hate kids, you're like, yeah, I totally want to have kids.
If you're a parent and you've been sitting here in quarantine and
You've been having your kids up your ass 24 hours a day and you get asked about kids, you are more likely to be like, you better think about it.
you know, so
Sorry. Do you think that this is of any importance these days? Do you think that people want to have children? Are they into reproducing, or do we want to just be by ourselves any damn way?
No, for the most part, I think people do. I think people do want to have kids and you know, carry on their lineage. There's a group of people that really don't, and you know, like as you're growing up, you really understand. There's a point in your life where you're like, all right, I want to have kids, or nah, I don't want to have kids at all.
yeah.
You know, and when you get to that point, nobody else can tell you whether to do it or not. Parent, godparent, aunt, uncle, like they can't. If I'm like, I don't want to have no kids, my mother and father can't tell me, nah, you need to go out. No, why? I might not be a great parent. That's not for me, you know?
It
That's
ain't
not
For everybody, it's really not. You know, being a parent it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, and in my opinion, to be a good parent, you know, there's a lot of self-sacrificing that's going on. There's a lot of stuff that you want to do that your ass don't get to do. You know what I mean? So yeah. So anyway, so listen, guys, I want you to make sure that you check for the phthalates in your products. You want to look for phthalate free. And also switch your plastic containers for glass containers. Now, I do want to also preface that I'm an energetic person and I believe in frequency and vibration. So technically, if you're a person who's in alignment, it doesn't necessarily, you know,
she's a messenger. But if you're in alignment,
and you're walking around in alignment most of the time and you've got that good momentum going on, then it really doesn't matter what is going on because you should be able to go into any and all things, and your body is assimilating and producing the chemicals and whatever it needs to be able to keep you healthy in no matter what environment that you are in. But most people are not into the whole alignment yet because it's coming. It's coming. Yeah. And there's so
you're not. Make sure that you're staying with the
phthalate free items and all of that good stuff. And then also they did say, just so that I don't leave it on the doom and gloom with that whole situation, so I feel like this is being done on purpose, because she also is stating that there is another substance that's estrogen in nature, and that can counteract the effects of what's happening right now in 3 generations. So even though it's poised to, by 2045, have half of the men unable to reproduce and the other half very slightly able to reproduce, they also have a substance to counteract it in 3 generations, which again just kind of makes me think this might be being done on purpose. And with that, we'll be right back.
I'm so excited. Something has arrived today. You know, I'm trying to let my inner guidance guide me to how it is that we get this message out. You know, we've written books, we did the audio. I do appreciate those who have read the books and listened to the audio, but to reach more people and plant the seed, because it's really all about people being on their own journey, but they just need the seed planted. Our stickers are here. Put it on your computer, you can put it on your car, and it's just a great way to tell the world, in the face of chaos in our crazy lives, every day we must choose to manifest beauty.
And welcome back to Random Ish with Sonja. What's cracking? So I've been hanging out with Mr. Lamont, aka Anonomus, the rapper.
Yes.
Rapper, producer, writer. He's over here doing the damn thing, which
we got to these days.
With everything, the changes was going on and everything, you have to do so much. And thank goodness for technology. Are you taking advantage? I saw that you've got the SoundCloud, so I know that you've got to be using some kind of studio. Teach yourself?
Yeah, well, all of my music out of my crib, mix and mastering all out of my crib. Like I was saying earlier before, I started doing this at a very young age, and I was blessed at like around 17, 18 to link up with a legendary mix and master engineer, Jeff Jones, the Jedi. He actually gave me my first book to use Digital Performer on and stuff like that. And because I was using Cool Edit Pro, I was using Fruity Loops and stuff like that to make my beats and record. And it's one of them things where you just have to work at it every day, ask questions, work at it every day. And, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I've lost hard drives. I've lost cell phones full of ROMs, CDs. You're gonna lose stuff. I tell people some of the stuff that I lost is better than some people's masterpieces that they can come up with. But that's part of the game. Right. That's part of the game. And then after a while, it shows, because I was blessed in my mid-20s. The same guy that I was working with, I did a mentorship under him, and we worked on a project that won a Grammy.
Nice.
It's one of those. It's like with the onset of the internet and the technology, you have the ability to blow up overnight. But I come from the era where I was just getting into that, so it takes a lot of hard work. But that hard work that you put in, there's a foundation that you understand, and with that foundation that you understand, it really turns into a trade. It's not just music or entertainment. It turns into a trade. I can come.
It becomes a lifestyle.
It does, and it also becomes a lifestyle. It really does, So, yeah.
Great though.
Yeah. It's good to hear that you're able to use all of those different things, because myself too, I created a home studio. I love that you say Cool Edit Pro. Hey, what's up, Cool Edit?
The edition now.
Right?
And what's great is I did make my theme song for the show. I did make that in Cool Edit and Ableton. But I'm not, I would like to do more beats and stuff like that. But for right now, I'm concentrating on the audio and all of that good stuff. But, I got into radio, and they were using the Cool Edit Pro 20 years ago, and I still love it, still love that program, so I use it for that. But yes, if it wasn't for the technology, technically I'm still on the radio now, but not in the same capacity that I was before. Now, maybe, again, if technology was different, I would have stayed hardcore with FM. But because of technology and because of everything being the way it is, it's like, dude, you might as well go for it.
Yeah.
You might as well just go ahead and
take the leap.
Thoughts together and go, right?
I tell people all the time, it's the same thing. The names just changed. That's all. The names just changed. It's still the same platforms.
Yeah.
The names just changed.
Yes, it is. Yeah, podcasts are still radio. It's just what's
great about it is that with
being on the radio, you get like 15, 30 seconds to talk about something, right? And you never really get to talk about yourself that much. So it was like, I'm sure every radio personality's whole want is that you would be able to get out there and really put your personality out there. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of it just being about the music.
And that's what the podcasting is doing for us, So you have podcasting, that's still a form of radio. The streaming, it's still a form of radio. TV with the streaming, it's still TV. It's just all different. My only question though is, so sometimes I will go into like a Walmart or whatever, and if I'm looking for a new product, and I'm standing there looking at all the different choices on the shelf, I'll be like, wow. And I'll stand there for so long, I swear employees think I'm getting ready to steal something because like I'm standing there for so long. They're like, she's trying to figure out if she's going to take it or not. You know what I mean?
But I'm really like doing a comparison. And
there are times that I'm like, oh my God, I don't know which one to get, you know? Yeah. Do you ever wonder if all of this technology that is giving us all this ability to create, is it becoming too much? Because the example I want to give you is that there are a lot of kids out there that don't know the music that their parents listen to, right?
A lot of kids out here, you know, when a remix
or when somebody pays tribute to an older band or something,
people think that these are new artists
because they've been able to grow up listening to whatever they specifically wanted to listen to, and there was no like community. Is that
bad or good? What's happening? Do you think that we're
well, you know, I would never say it's bad because, you know, music, anything that you do creatively is an expression of your soul. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's never a bad thing. Do I feel that, you know, there should be some kind of history behind it? Of course. But it's a twofold thing. It's on the youth to go back, because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. But it's also on those, the elders that are still around, you know, not to hold on to their secrets and not to hold any kind of ill will towards the youth because their style or their sound is different. That's not how you advance. You know, it's all coming from the soul. So if you can't get with what this new kid is doing just because it doesn't sound like what you're doing, was what you really doing was from the heart? Was it from the soul? Or were you just chasing a check? Because if it comes from inside, when you hear it, you know, you'll be like, oh, okay. Like, and of course, you're not going to like everything you hear, because I don't like everything that I hear, new or old. But, you know, I can get with it because somebody likes it. And then there's things that I hear from the youth and the new kids that come out. And I'm like, oh, I can get with that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a bridge that needs to be built because there's a clear gap. There's a clear gap, and, you know, the disrespect is palpable on both sides.
So, no, seriously, it's getting a little crazy. And I just always want to say to the youth out there, don't listen, honey, you want to get older, okay? So don't talk smack about older people, because that's the goal. And to the older people who are talking smack about the youth, do you know how old you sound? Don't you remember when your parents said to you, why are you listening to that music so loud? Oh my God, what do you listen to? That is so stupid.
I remember when my parents told me that Michael Jackson
sounded was stupid. Why am I listening to him? He's weird.
Or Prince, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, you know? So what stops me from saying things is like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the person who is now admitting that they're old and, oh, that music is so loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Type. So I don't want to do that. But
I do appreciate the technology because, hey, it's enabled
me to be able to do what we're doing
right now.
Yeah.
So speaking of technology, I just wanted to
say thank you for coming on down, Anonymous.
And speaking of the technology, tell them where
can they find you on the web?
First and foremost, you can find me on my website, www.bearsquadmusic.com. That's BEARSQADMUSIC.com. Instagram, BRSQ CEO. iTunes, Anonymous to God, ANONOMUSDAGAWD. That's iTunes, Spotify, everywhere that's syndicated. Yeah. SoundCloud, same thing, Anonymous to God. What did I miss? Twitter, Anonymous to God. It's A Squad God on Twitter. That should be BSECEO. And Facebook, Lamont Conagary, and also Anonymous to God.
Nice.
I try to keep everything the same.
Right? That's that branding. That's that brand,
hon.
Bear Squad Music Group, Bear Squad Entertainment. We are the brand.
Nice.
I got clothing, sneakers, pins, all of that.
Some videos?
Up on YouTube, Bear Squad Entertainment.
Nice.
Well then, I'm going to ask you now. Can we get your permission to take one or two of your music videos and add on to the channel MBE on Roku?
Of course. Yeah, I got my 3-4 music videos up there, and I got my latest mixtape and another older mixtape up there. Take whatever you like.
Bam! Dude, beautiful. Hey, I'm into that. Well,
Thank you so much for stopping by.
I appreciate it. Great conversation with you, and definitely look forward to seeing his videos on MBE on the inspiration. Hey, excuse me, not on inspiration. That's meditation videos. On the lifestyle videos. Be sure to be on the lookout for Anonymous's music videos in the lifestyle music video section. All right, Mr. Man, thanks for hanging out.
I'll say one more thing.
For sure.
All right, I just want to shout out MC Globe, GLOBE, Flesh and Blood. Thank you, I love you. Shout out Wheezy F Angry, Archer Troy, Baby Doll, and everybody else that's rocking with the Bear Squad music movement.
That's what's up.
And thank you, King. I appreciate it. Laters.